This was an exciting 3+ hours, and I know I'm keeping you between you and your hot cup of tea through this session. So I'm going to keep it short. The the what I mean, while today is a culmination of a personal journey in many ways, captured by the quote by the Nobel laureate Toni Morrison, that if there's a book you want to read and it's not been written yet, then you must write it. And this was something that few of us, few years ago, inspired by a very similar sentiment, that technology like AI has the potential to transform the country, the planet, and we ought to do something about it if we feel passionate about it. And along the way, we've been lucky to partner with the government, partner with Professor PJ Narayanan, Professor Jawahar, IIIT Hyderabad, and many other folks around the country. And today, in many ways, is the culmination of all that work. And yet, it is still the beginning, as Dr. Srini Raju's talked about, Dr. Raj Reddy talked about. It's just still the beginning. There are so many more problems to be solved. But I'm inspired personally because we've come this far. Honestly, 3 years ago, I wouldn't have imagined that we would come this far. Right? And our vision was to bring the power of computing revolution to the problems of scale. These problems that have typically stayed beyond the purview of computing. Nivruti earlier talked about 17 deaths on the road. Nobody ever thought computing can help solve that problem, right? So are we inspired by that vision? Can we take on problems that have typically stayed in the analog world, and can we bring digital technology to those problems and help solve it? And today was the big picture, the day one of the week-long summit. And we tried peeling the onion, if you will, on what are the different aspects that we need to worry about as we take on the challenge of AI for population scale. In the morning, we heard about bringing AI to the youth, how critical it is to address the disparity and make the future workforce ready with AI. Minister Pokhriyal talked about multidisciplinary approach, creating content, AI content in a manner that is available to every citizen, exposing our youth to AI. We heard the need for digital literacy being very important, and need for AI being very important for empowerment, right? So it's a matter of great pride for me that Intel is partnering with Government of India, and in the launch of AI Youth Symposium, and the kind of goals that we are taking with the government to bring AI to every single school in the country. I also particularly thought, Brian's framework of readiness for machine plus human world, where we are focused on amplify, complement, and human in the loop kind of a framework, is a very good way to think about it, right? Rather than getting lost in the debate of, our machines going to take us over and our robots coming to win the human race on, right? I thought that was very illuminating. The second part was obviously the culmination of the dream, where we have inaugurated the AI Center. The goal is aspirational. We want to take on the population scale challenges. These are hard challenges, interdisciplinary challenges, not just computer science problems. They are policy problems. We have to work with a number of experts in the government, in industry, in academia, where we address the talent piece of it, we address the IP creation piece of it, we address the policy piece of it, and of course, data is there, right? And in many ways, I'm hopeful because our country, like Minister R.S. Prasad talked about, the fact that this country has taken on the ambitious goals and built public digital infrastructure like Aadhaar and DPT and GSTN. And it's mind-boggling that he mentioned the figure of $23 billion saved via DBT. Just a couple of years ago, this was unthinkable. So that kind of a thing, I think, is inspiring, and we have that opportunity with AI, right? Can we build that national AI infrastructure that becomes the backbone of everything that Professor Narayanan talked about, Dr. Raj Reddy talked about, Dr. Srini Raju talked about, right? Can we go to the way ahead of the fact that majority of our population doesn't have access, is not digitally literate, but if we had such an AI backbone, can we reach out and solve the access problem, if you will, and significantly improve the efficiency of what otherwise is not possible. I mean, our country is not going to be able to build hundreds and thousands of hospitals anytime soon that we need, for example, in healthcare, right? So we have to leverage technology. I also liked the fact how, Kiran and a scientific advisor to PM, Dr. Vijay Raghavan, talked about context, need for maintaining the context so that we know how to leverage the knowledge, and it's not just about data and information or mindless analysis. And biology, we know, is undergoing transformation. Biology is going to eat the world, like they used to say about the software. The next decade and a half, we would see transformation in life sciences. It's a big economy as well. Bioeconomy will be worth tens of trillions of dollars. So what we do here in the center enables not us just to transform public health and transform access, but hopefully also set stage for technology creation and IP creation and entrepreneurship in this new economy. So today was the big picture. Tomorrow is about a little bit of deep dive, and tomorrow's focus is on population scale AI for health. Again, we are going to have three parts of it. The first part of it is going to be about reimagining healthcare. We will talk about what is Intel's vision, how are we approaching it, what do we think are the fundamental constituents from an Intel point of view that we need to do. Of course, there's a lot more to be done, that Intel is not necessarily expert at, but we'll talk about Intel's vision. Particularly, we are motivated by the motto of learning from all to benefit one and everyone. How do we see that happening in a secure, privacy-preserving manner? We would have Dr. Indu Bhushan talk about National Digital Health Mission. I am personally very excited about it because it gives us that digital backbone. And if we are able to build this infrastructure where we can learn from all to benefit one, it can very beautifully complement the National Digital Health Mission in actually bringing access, the kind of vision Dr. Raj Reddy laid out, right? Because we would have that repository of learning from the population and then being able to deliver service at the edge. We'll again hear from PHFI friends on how they are thinking about taking AI and leveraging the technology to fill in the gaps in the healthcare. I'm personally also excited about Dr. Shwetak Patel. He is an amazing orator and has done some amazing work with smartphones and how to bring healthcare benefits to improve access via smartphone. So that would be an exciting talk, right? And especially it's very relevant in pandemic times. Since we are taking on large-scale population challenges, there is exciting folks, Dr. Venkat, Dr. Arvind, who are going to talk about cardiovascular outcomes using genomics data. We've had, for many years, genomic data being analyzed in the country for our population. As most of us would know, most of the drugs that get created today, 95% of those, population that's taken, that's used in trials is non-Indian, right? It's mostly Caucasian. So we have an opportunity again, to see what is unique about our genome and do it at scale, right? We would have an exciting talk from Dr. Alex Zaharnikov. He is CEO of In Silico Medicine. And they had published a beautiful paper 5-6 months ago around how AI can discover a drug molecule within 46 days. And earlier, Kiran talked about how this is a 5-7 year journey going from lab to market. And now AI technology is, being able to prune through 10 to power 60 compounds worth of chemical space and being able to zero in on a particular molecule that is promising is very exciting. So we would hear his experience and their development of COVID platforms. Again, that's been a collaboration with IIIT Hyderabad, CSIR, Intel, and In Silico Medicine. And then finally, we'll end the day with a panel discussion, experts coming from computing, from medical sciences, from genomics experts, coming together and talking about how we would leverage population scale data sets, what are our challenges, what our aspirations should be, so that we can realize the vision of population scale AI for societal benefits. So I'm looking forward to have all of you tomorrow morning tomorrow evening, India time, 6 p.m. For population scale AI for healthcare. And I wish you all a very good evening, and thank you for being here.